Hmm. Oh! Oh! That was a recreation of Tsukihime Siru, this chair scene. That's what I'm talking about today. Whew. Anyways, some actual important news. Yeah, I did finish Siru a while ago. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but okay. Start with the Siru. I actually like Siru a lot more than the original Siru. So the original Siru has a lot of issues. Number one, Roa does absolutely nothing. Roa does one not even good thing, one strangely, strange thing. He shows up in the classroom and, immediately skewers Ciel in the tea room. And he immediately dies, and then he becomes just, evil Ryef in Shiki's head. Yeah. And otherwise than that, nothing really happens in the original Siru, and I really liked the new Siru. I think there were, three main things that were added. So, I'll get to that. So, first we'll go on with Roa. So, Roa gets a full-fledged backstory now. Amazing. I think he's a great villain. He's one of the greats now. He is, I guess, a little below Kirei in my opinion. I don't think he's, my favorite villain. I think he's really good, though. He's on the level of, Leo, Kurogiri. Maybe, Archer and Kirei on their own levels, but again, Roa is really good. Roa gets this full-fledged expansion where he's he used to be kind of sympathetic. He loves knowledge and loves humans, but eventually he was taken so far in this endeavor that he wanted to become immortal, and then he'd know everything there is to know. He just wanted to know the meaning of life, that kind of thing, with Nasiverse people. Especially Roa, he was a man of the church, so he was basically a saint. But the only thing he knew what to do was he knew how to talk to people. He knew how to I guess amass knowledge, but he never knew what he himself wanted. He was following this will that he was pushed to follow. And eventually, because Roa encounters Arkid, the true ancestor princess, he gets this, I guess, everlasting image of her printed onto him. And I really find it fascinating that after Roa becomes a directive, this program, Arkid is the only thing that's a constant in his mind. It's really funny. And obviously, Roa I really liked in Siru that Shiki himself says Roa needs closure. That's why he wanted to. That's why Roa wanted to basically keep reincarnating. Right? He wanted to. Not only just amass knowledge, you want to in some way be connected with Arkid. But alas, didn't work out. But Roa in Siru is great. He dies super earlier than OG Siru, but that means he gets his more stuff to do in the last act. I want to get to my favorite part of Siru later. I just want to say the core parts of Siru are pretty much the same. It's Ciel kind of lamenting her time with Shiki because of Tono, because it's getting really hard for her to actually be human, because she used to be Rose's reincarnation. Really awful backstory, obviously. I'm glad they showed that in more detail. Yeah, I'm going to talk about more Roa before I go on to Ciel and Arkid, obviously. Yeah, we get more. Really cool thing the remake does is instead of just showing us the Roa backstory, we get Shiki going cuckoo. I just did right there. He goes Shiki going cuckoo about I need to read a book to fall asleep, and then he reads a book that isn't a real book, and it's actually Roa's memories. Because after Roa dies, he gets transferred into Shiki's soul, kind of radio waves, electromagnetic waves. It's super cool way to integrate Roa's backstory, and overall, I really enjoyed the moments where Shiki went absolutely bizarro cuckoo. It was he started clawing at the wound with his knife. He was ah, ah. that kind of thing. And that scene of Clocky was absolutely terrifying. The bad ends in Serial were also absolutely amazing. We got a bunch of scary bad ends, like Shiki again killing his whole family, and Arca like torturing Shiki forever, that kind of thing. Mm. Yeah, and then I'm talking about more about Ciel and Arca. So I still think I like Arca more than Ciel. I think her story is very like touching to me. Design wise, I can go either way, but I like Arca a little bit more than Ciel. But she's awesome. She gets this massive glow up in like character because she gets a lot more moment spent with Shiki. She gets this little talk with him about like being able to carry your sins and repent over them. Mm? And I can feel like the relationship actually feels real this time around. And OG Tsukihime, I do not feel gripped by the relationship. By the OG, when Ciel comes down to like shank him because she figured out Shiki's Tonakun's Roy's next reincarnation. I didn't feel it. But this time around, I did. It was very nice. It was very, very nice to see him deepen the relationship. Curry Senpai is a great character. Yeah, I just don't. I think all the good things from OG Serial were carried over or improved, but mostly the parts that are good, they're there. And Arcrid. So Arcrid like becomes de facto villain of the route once Ro is gone. Oh, also the Law fight in Searoot is pretty cool. We did a new theme for him. I won't talk more about that because Vlad is like, pretty cool already. But yeah, Arcrid becoming the big villain in this route, I think is a great choice. And most people have an issue with this because, so before the last day of Searoot, I would say the plot beats mostly did stay the same, right? Shiki meets Ciel, they fight Vlav. I've seen the OG, but not really same as the OG, but okay. Baseline, basic story structure, Shiki meets Ciel, they get to know each other, blah blah blah. And then again, another big change in Van I'll talk later, but overall the structure is like, okay, you can see how the plot is going to where the OG would end, and that is what they did. That is what Nasser did in the normal route. The normal end is literally just the OG true end, because of one big change. I'll get to that after I talk about Arcade. So Arcade becomes this big villain, and there's a humongous section of story where Arcade goes berserk and becomes a huge before she becomes a huge monster because it unleashes her full ancestor power. She got a whole universe behind her, like some kind of god. She's warping the world just like mess with Ciel. Terrifying stuff. And then once you blast off this Star of Carveria, which is greater magecraft using the sun's reflections or something. Crazy music, awesome stuff. Even before that, Ciel shoots out this super fast arrow, super strong arrow, and then Arcade, obviously being the true ancestor princess, she rushes it off. I just want to say, I understand how this fight is super ridiculous. People say it's FGO. I've never played FGO, screw that. But I do think the scale of it is purely to highlight how nonsensical this is for Arcade to do. And best parts of this fight is Ro chiming in to be Shiki's GPS, bro. This guy was still disappointed of Arcade being all big baby. He was like, I'm here to help you, Shiki. I'm here to help you. I'm here to save Elysia and you. Because I need to do that to survive. It was so cool. Yeah. So I do think the Luminary fight towards the middle was it was just Arcade showing off her stuff. It was just Arcade showing off what she could do. And when she gets into Luminary form, it just starts getting really ridiculous. So she creates a black hole in the road. The whole city gets the texture ripped off some kind of paint. And I understand the complaints. I actually do think towards the middle, you're starting to question, why doesn't Arcade just slime Shiki? Why didn't you just swat him out of existence? That's a great question, because I want to say that it is all to highlight Arcade's character in this route. In this route, Arcade is super pissed because Ciel gets Shiki. But it's not just that. It's because Arcade's pride in true ancestor does not allow her to accept this outcome. You're telling me the true ancestor princess hailed and feared You know, feared as like one of the strongest beings, probably the strongest being born out of the earth, is losing to this reincarnation of this like how would you put it? It's like used goods, raw reincarnation. That's what she's losing to. She can't accept it, and also like she loves Shiki. Let's be honest. I never had an issue with this. Never had an issue with Arquid loving Shiki in the Ciel. Never had an issue with that because okay, it makes sense. Arquid prior to Shiki like butchering her into 17 pieces, which was a machine. She killed vampires. That's was so objective. Once she found Shiki, she found life. That's all she found. And Siru, instead of like internalizing this stuff and respecting Shiki's wishes, she goes berserk. She does everything in her power to basically mess with Shiki. And again, one of my favorite scenes in the route is the Arquid love letter route. It's purely to say that Arquid's feelings are out of control. She's gotten this extreme point where like she loves Shiki, she hates him. Oh, well, it's like a pendulum, blah blah blah. And of all things, she wants Shiki to stop her because he's the only one who she wants to stop her. But also, he's the only one he doesn't want to see like in this form. He's the only one he doesn't want to see. She doesn't want to see in this form. It's a complicated mesh of emotions. I feel like overall, it's just Arquid loves Shiki, but she also can't like give up her prize a true answer that sister that easily. Yeah, and again, I guess Shiki's character kind of develops a little bit with Roa. Again, Roa's character gets a fantastic send-off. He gets this like random line saying like, I'll let you use my soul to power up those last stars to blow up Arquid and save her. And there's a ridiculous sequence where they fly up into the air like a bird with Roa's gravity magic. Shiki touches a star. He burns himself so bad with it, and he dives down this huge, monstrous, light, luminary form Arquid. This huge ball of light, and like he drives down, does a whole arc around, and rams her in the face. So I guess Roa got his wish. Roa touched his soul of Arquid's, and there's insane sequence where Shiki drops down, like from existence, trying to like destroy this world egg or something. Whatever, it's a celestial egg, some kind of thing relating to the inner sea of the world. It's a very ancient thing, and he nicks it, and that's all it takes because something that's perfect with a like single mistake is no longer perfect, blah 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 kind of thing. And yeah, I know I'm recapping a lot here, but it's really hard to write a review on it without recapping it. So that's the end of that. And again, my favorite scene of this whole Luminary part, my second favorite scene is when Shiki, he's like, half his body is like burned, and Arquid comes down and starts yelling at him. He's like, "You're an idiot, Shiki! You think I'm not done with you? You think after I turned into a big tower of light, after I got like, had to be saved by you, you think I'm not done with you? No, get up. We're getting round two." And Shiki like calls her an idiot, a big buffoon, a big silly, stupid, ignorant vampire. And yeah, calls her off. Their dynamic is like really fun to watch. And again, with that final scene, you finally get closure of Arquid in your side. Arquid respects Shiki's wishes, much like how she did in her route. But this time she understands that, like, as a true ancestor, having these little moments with Shiki, even if it's not romantic, that's good enough for her. It only took a huge luminary existence kind of fight, luminary form fight for her to figure that out. Hooray! Yay for Arquid. The most immature vampire of all existence. And a Ciel normal route. The Ciel normal end. It's the normal true end. It's the OG true end, but like with little things different. Some people like it more than the actual true end of Remake. I can see that. It's really sad. It's just the build up to it. The build up to it is just the OG Ciel route. So I don't think it's like that special. Except like it's a sad ending. It's like something like the Heaven's Feel normal end. And I appreciate it. It's a little sad. Spoilers, obviously, if you this deep into it. Ciel dies, sacrificing her life to save Shiki. Really sad stuff. The stuff before is also sad. Kind of Ciel spending her last time in a dream with Shiki. Yeah, it's heavy stuff. And the Truant, I love the Truant. The Truant is... I think the Luminary fight wraps up really well. I think the Truant is really happy. It might be one of the happiest endings in Typhoon. If he was good, if he was earned. And finally, Ciel has his full arc. With it, full arc of her character. That's complete. But I have not talked about my favorite character out of Ciel for a while now. That's the fact that, like, she might be the best new character in years. I know this is crazy to say, especially when Ciel got that amazing scene about her, like, her and her old self, her new self, kind of arguing about if she deserves to be human. Well, she wouldn't have that kind of conflict without the GOAT of Tsukihime Remake, Noelle. She's a GOAT. 27-year-old girl failure. Ah, yes! Hurrah! She's such an amazing character. Okay, first of all, her design is, like, super crazy. She looks stunning. I think behind, like, Rock's pretty cool too, but, like, oh man. Oh my goodness. You know who she looks like? She looks like She looks like Toko, that's why. Yeah, I know I'm bursting a bit here, but, like, she looks like Toko, that's why. So yeah. 27-year-old girl failure. She's such an awesome character in the most pathetic way. Okay. So, again, her backstory kind of shows she was one of the bystanders in the French incident in which, like, Roa messed everything up. And the way they've depicted Noelle and her using her trauma as a coping mechanism, it's amazing. Where'd I begin? Okay, first of all, I don't know. Freaky as hell. Hits on high schoolers for some reason. Like, ugh. Yikes. Also, she's, like, just very immature. She's very bad at her job as an executor. I think all these aspects, like, is at the nose character. She by all means is not sane. She tries to convince herself that she's sane and, like, she's better than someone like Ciel. But her job is killing vampires, right? Sure. But there's one scene where instead of killing this vampire, she lures them all into a room and starts, like, torturing them, skinning them, ripping their limbs off, like, pulling their tongues out kind of thing. It's so unnecessary. You realize what kind of person Noelle is. Noelle is, like, one of those abused turned abusers. Very similar to Shinji from Face of Die, except this time in Tsukihime Remake, Noelle gets an actual, like, gets an actual place in the story that's important and talks about, like, the things she's went through. With Shinji, obviously Shinji's a dirtbag. He's a terrible person, but it's never, like, the way they try to retcon him as a character is kind of weird, right? It makes you think Nasu could have wanted to try again with him, and he did try again with, like, Noelle. So I don't know a great character. She's, again, utterly a failure as a person, a failure as a teacher probably too, and you can tell, like, she's very pent up because she feels like she has the need to boss weaker people around, because obviously she knows. Well, I'm getting tired again. Obviously she knows she's not strong enough to boss the actual strong people around, right? She picks on the weak because she's weak herself. Awesome stuff. And the big driver of her arc is just Ciel. They were kind of codependent on each other because after the incident, the French incident, Noelle gets to meet Shiki again as an executor, and Noelle likes her. I don't think Noelle hates her. I think all that stuff she said about hating Ciel is actually kind of false, because Noelle sees in Shiki, my bad, Noelle sees in Ciel something that is completely natural. A killing machine. That came out of the incident completely scarred. She thinks that's natural, and she thinks that's something to strive for. So when she becomes a vampire, when Noelle becomes a vampire, she starts venting about how she's strong now, how she has the ability to, like, siphon off judgment against the person who caused her all this pain and suffering. Also, I think I kind of think the Noah versus Shiki fight is so goddamn blah, bro. It's worse than Luminary because half the time it's Noah like in her little young form going around like, ah, Shiki-kun, why don't you dodge my gates of death and torture? While he's running around like, Ciel, wake up, Ciel, Ciel. It's really long, but I like how like every word she spews out of her mouth is just meant to completely meant to be against herself. No, when she become a vampire, she can finally be free of like her constraints of being weak. She can have fun. She can feel good. That's something she wasn't allowed to have until she became a vampire. That's how bad her life was. And she killed like 50 people at this point as a vampire. So you can tell she finally got her breaks off. And her fight with Ciel after she wakes up, like confronting her past, amazing stuff. Probably on the level of Archer versus Shuro. Amazing stuff. I know that's a big thing to say, but it is an amazing fight. Because the moment it starts, you know Noah is cooked. You know, the moment Ciel pulls out the seventh sacrament, and Noah starts like panicking, damn! Urgh! Just because whoever's stronger is right, that's how he's going to end it? Yeah. Ciel decides to be on equal footing on Noah because she decides that whoever wins this fight will be right. And Noah doesn't accept that for some reason, even though that's the kind of thing she was like championing over for the past like 5 days. It's really funny. It's obviously Noah can't have enough confidence in her own power to actually, prove to Ciel that she's right. That Ciel is someone that should die. That shouldn't be alive. And obviously, whatever Noel throws at Ciel, it's useless. Noel needed like 6 dead apostle injections, fake idea blood, just to get to rank 6. She's weak. She does everything she can. She throws everything she can at Ciel. And it sort of resembles like they're sparring. But obviously, Noel can't do anything. She can't even like make Ciel act hurt. Ciel is just too strong. Ciel has built up all this strength over all the years, and Noel has rotted away in her own self-pity and her own like frustrations against the world. And here comes the big question: like everyone always asks, "Oh, who's right, who's wrong?" None of them. They're both kind of like bad people trying to make up for what they've lost. With Ciel, she does it by like making up to Shiki's expectations as like not just his lover, but also like his equal. She wants to like stop this evil vampire, right? And Noel, she's trying to take revenge. That's all she's trying to do. She's trying to vent her frustrations in a really destructive way, obviously. And by the end of the fight, Noah has like her arms and legs broken. She's like she's dead, almost. And Ciel says the bad thing that Noel did was not becoming a vampire. It was acting like a vampire. The moment she became a vampire, she just like threw away all prejudices against vampires and started butchering everyone. Because Noel hated weak people. She didn't hate vampires. Okay, she hated weak people. She hated weak people, rats and weasels who ran off, not trying to like face things. Guess who fits in that category? Great writing. And Noel takes one last injection to become a rank 7, but obviously she's too weak to do that. And again, she kind of indicts Ciel for being more human than her. Is like, why did you become human? It's a really powerful line because Noel can't fathom like Ciel moving on because she can't fathom herself moving on. She can't fathom herself who is like the victim of Ciel or victim of Ro, obviously, but she can't fathom like Ciel moving on. It's funny. I think Noel is a very human character, but yeah, she ends her life in this very sad way where she's just like calling out for her parents, and you're left to wonder Could there have been a way to avoid this? And I don't really think so. For Ciel to move, for Ciel to like move forward in her arc, she had to like resolve things with Noel. And Noel's revenge is resolved in a very sad way. She just yearns to be normal again. She yearns to be sane again, but she can't. She's long past that. What a character, man. She, I say, yeah, all the yabbing about Noel. I really hope she turns in far side and gets like a conclusion to her hatred against vampires. Can you just turn into one and decide like, yeah, it's butchering time, it's killing time. And one of my favorite lines, besides like Noel's "Why did you become human?" line, is probably Ciel saying, "5 years wasn't that long of time, is it?" It, yeah. Ciel tried to like devalue her time together with Noel. Noel was her friend. Noel was her partner. Okay, the, whatever each of them says, they were good friends. They liked each other. They were really good friends. I think even though they absolutely did not try to understand each other, they got along. What a character. Might be. I wonder if it might be. It is the best change from OG Tsukihime to Tsukihime Remake. I'm just asking Nasu to add this kind of content for Big Shiki, the Ryo Shiki, and obviously Satsuki. And this is almost like 30 minutes of Searoot. And there's still a lot of things I haven't talked about, but they aren't my important things. Yeah. So, more of the story, read Tsukihime Remake. I'd probably read the original first, but honestly, the remake is pretty geared towards newcomers. Not really. You miss a few things, but the Tsukihime Searoot is a complete revamp. If anyone prefers the original Searoot over like the Tsukihime remake Searoot, they better have a really good argument. By that I mean they have no argument. They have nothing against what makes OG Ciel better than remake Ciel. Alright. Oh, and Roa gets his like freaky OG good ending in both of the true ends of the remake. So obviously Nasu knew what to do with Roa. Yeah. And again, I'm very pissed off of this one thing. You get me a Satsuki teasing scene in the end of Searoot. Nasu, what are we doing? What are we doing with Red Garden? What are you doing feeding us these crumbs? Why? Again, I know it's a dream sequence. Even more insulting. You're telling me Satsuki going to the Tono Mansion, talking with Akia about like how she likes Shiki. That's something we can't get! Oh yeah, one last thing. Right before Shiki wakes up after being burned to like high hell in the true end, he gets his talk with his original self, his Nana self. I know it's a strange scene for some, but I think it's a very touching scene because Nana Shiki says if he wakes up, Shiki will forever be in a coma. In other words, he will die again, right? So, and he asks Shiki, would he rather dream endlessly in this coma in which he can like be happy, or would he rather wake up to the harsh reality where he might not be alive? And Yara says it's a reality where you will be dead in all senses except like your vital functions, and you'll be brain dead. And Shiki says, well, I have someone to go back to, right? I have someone to live for. I have someone whose dreams I want to see that aren't mine. And Nana Shiki in response says, yeah, I like her too. You give my permission to wake up and not die. And basically we get to say goodbye to Nana Shiki. I know it's a bit sudden for like, why is Kid Shiki here giving me a lecture about dreams and stuff? But as like a end note thing to Nearroot, It's like we're saying goodbye to the Nanashiki as a way to cap off the near side. As with the far side, we get to say lots of hellos to Nanashiki. If that makes sense. It's like a call and response kind of thing. If that makes sense. But yeah. This is a really long video, much like the actual Tsukihime Remake Ciel route. But it's absolutely worth it. It kind of made me a Ciel supporter. I like Ciel. She's really badass. Awesome design. I know it looks a little bit like the fake Grand Order character, but I don't care about her. Also, she wears glasses, but that still doesn't make her my favorite Tsukihime heroine. Again, Red Garden. When will Red Garden be out, Nasu? I'm tired of asking, and I know tons of people are tired of asking. It's for the Akira fans, it's for the History fans, it's for the Kohaku fans, it's for the Satsuki fans! This chair. This chair.